You finish your day feeling spent, your muscles tired, your energy fading. You rest, hoping that your body will recover while you sleep. And it does, but only if it has the right internal signal, the right molecular building blocks, and the right nutrient environment. What if I told you that one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding muscle tissue, protecting against aging, and improving metabolic strength is not a scoop of powder, not a supplement, but a simple natural food that has been around for centuries, a nut that quietly works with your biology overnight. For years, protein powders have been sold as the ultimate solution for muscle growth and recovery. They are convenient, they promise fast results, and they dominate the fitness industry. Yet, what most people do not realize is that muscle health is not just about the quantity of protein you consume. It is about how your cells process it, how your hormones respond to it, and how your body repairs itself during rest. Here is what is really happening inside your body. Muscle tissue is constantly in a state of renewal. Old or damaged fibers are broken down, and new ones are formed. This process, known as muscle protein synthesis, depends on far more than dietary protein. It depends on the balance between inflammation, insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, and the nutrient signals that activate repair. Now, here is the twist. Certain whole foods, particularly one remarkable nut we will explore today, contain a combination of amino acids, antioxidants, and natural fats that communicate directly with your metabolism. They tell your muscles, it is time to rebuild. And they do this even while you sleep. Scientists once believed that muscle rebuilding was purely mechanical. Lift weights, eat protein, recover. But what recent research reveals is that your metabolic signaling, the messages sent between your liver, insulin, and muscle tissue, determines how efficiently your muscles recover and grow. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles as a construction site. Protein is the raw material, the bricks, but without the engineers, energy, and blueprints, no building ever gets made. This special nut provides not just the bricks, but also the design and the spark that turns recovery into regeneration. This matters deeply as we age. By our 40s and 50s, we begin losing muscle at a rate of 3 to 8% per decade. This is not just about strength, it affects energy, metabolic stability, and how well we burn fat. Understanding how natural foods can protect and rebuild muscle could change how we age, how we feel, and how we live. So in this episode, we will uncover the science behind this overlooked nut, how it restores muscle tissue, how it balances your hormones overnight, and why it may be the missing key in natural muscle regeneration. If this is making sense so far, consider subscribing. I share this kind of science every day to help you strengthen your body from within. To truly understand why this nut can rebuild muscles overnight, we first need to explore what really happens inside your body when muscle repair begins. Most people believe that muscle growth is simply a reaction to exercise and protein intake. You lift, you eat, you grow. But that is only the surface of the story. The deeper truth lies in a continuous conversation happening between your muscles, your liver, and your hormones, a metabolic dialogue that decides whether your body enters a state of repair or decline. Here is what is really happening inside your body. Every time you engage your muscles, tiny micro tears occur within the fibers. These microscopic injuries are not damage in the negative sense. They are signals, chemical messages that travel through your bloodstream calling your body into action. Your liver begins releasing amino acid transporters, your pancreas adjusts insulin secretion, and your muscle cells activate receptors known as mTOR pathways, the master switches for muscle protein synthesis. This entire cascade is your body's way of saying, it is time to rebuild. But here's the catch. If insulin levels stay too high or if inflammation clouds the signal, this rebuilding process slows down. It is like trying to rebuild a house while a storm is still raging. You have the materials, but the environment is too unstable to begin construction. That is why relying only on protein powders often leads to frustration. You may be providing amino acids, but you are not giving your body the right internal conditions to use them efficiently. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscle tissue as a factory. Protein powders supply raw materials, the boxes of parts waiting to be assembled. But unless the factory's electricity is working, the engineers are alert, and the blueprint is clear, nothing gets built. The nut we are talking about today provides not just the materials, but also the spark and the signal. Its natural compounds support insulin balance, improve cellular communication, and create the calm metabolic environment that allows your muscles to rebuild while you sleep. Recent research in nutritional biochemistry has shown that the amino acid and fatty acid profile of certain nuts directly enhances muscle protein synthesis by activating these repair pathways, particularly during rest. Instead of spiking insulin or flooding the bloodstream with isolated nutrients, this food works harmoniously with your physiology. It helps the body sense abundance, not overload, a key difference that determines whether protein turns into lean tissue or excess storage. The beauty of this process is that it is entirely natural. Your body was designed to heal, regenerate, and adapt. When given the right signals, it does not just repair, it upgrades. So the question is not how much protein you consume, but whether your body is able to interpret that protein as a signal for repair. And that is exactly where this remarkable nut shines. The nut we are talking about is the almond, one of nature's most extraordinary nutrient powerhouses, often underestimated because of its simplicity. Yet, inside this humble seed lies a perfectly balanced design for muscle recovery, metabolic healing, and overnight regeneration. To understand why the almond stands apart, let us look beneath its surface. Almonds contain a rare combination of plant-based protein, monounsaturated fats, and essential micronutrients that work together like a finely tuned orchestra. Each nutrient plays a role in supporting the molecular process of muscle rebuilding, from stabilizing blood sugar and reducing inflammation to triggering growth signals inside your muscle cells. Here is what is really happening inside your body when you consume almonds. As they are digested, their amino acids, particularly arginine and glutamine, enter the bloodstream slowly, maintaining a steady supply rather than a quick spike. This steady delivery allows your body to sustain the process of muscle protein synthesis over several hours, including while you sleep. Unlike protein powders that create a sharp surge of amino acids followed by a drop, almonds provide a slow, intelligent release, more in harmony with the body's natural repair rhythm. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of muscle recovery as building a bridge overnight. Protein powders dump all the materials on the site at once, bricks, beams, and cement. But the workers can only use a small portion at a time. The rest goes to waste. Almonds, on the other hand, deliver just the right amount at the right pace, ensuring continuous progress until the bridge is complete by morning. What recent research reveals is that almonds do more than just provide nutrients. Their natural compounds interact with genes that control inflammation and metabolism. Studies from leading nutrition science centers have shown that regular almond intake lowers C-reactive protein levels, a key marker of systemic inflammation, and enhances insulin sensitivity. This matters deeply for muscle repair because insulin is not just a blood sugar hormone. It is also an anabolic signal. When it functions efficiently, it tells muscle cells to absorb amino acids and begin building new tissue. Beyond that, almonds supply magnesium, which fuels the enzymes responsible for energy production inside your mitochondria, the engines that power your cells. They also provide vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects muscle membranes from oxidative stress, the very damage that often prevents efficient recovery after exertion. So, when you combine these physiological effects, stable insulin, calm inflammation, antioxidant protection, and mitochondrial activation, what you get is a nutrient that aligns perfectly with your body's natural overnight repair system. This is why people often notice deeper recovery and sustained energy when whole foods like almonds are part of their nutrition framework. The point here is simple yet profound. Real muscle health is not built in the gym or in the shaker bottle. It is built in the quiet hours when your body is resting, repairing, and listening to the biochemical messages you send it. Almonds send one of the clearest messages nature can deliver: rebuild, protect, and renew. Now that we know almonds are the hidden catalyst behind this muscle restoring phenomenon, let us look deeper into why their effect extends beyond simple nutrition and into the realm of metabolic communication. This is where the science becomes truly fascinating, because almonds are not merely a source of calories or protein. They are biochemical messengers that influence how your cells interpret energy and recovery. Here is what is really happening inside your body. When you eat almonds, your digestive system breaks them down slowly, allowing a gradual release of nutrients into the bloodstream. This gentle release prevents the sharp insulin spikes that often follow highly processed protein powders or refined carbohydrates. As a result, your cells remain sensitive to insulin's message, a message that tells muscle fibers to open their gates and absorb nutrients efficiently. This process, called nutrient partitioning, determines whether the energy you consume becomes stored fat or functional tissue. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles as a sponge. If that sponge is already saturated with sugar and inflammation, it cannot absorb anything more. Insulin resistance, driven by poor dietary patterns or chronic stress, makes that sponge stiff. But almonds, through their combination of healthy fats, minerals, and antioxidants, help rehydrate that sponge. They make your muscle tissue more receptive, ready to soak in amino acids, glucose, and oxygen, the exact ingredients needed for rebuilding. What recent research reveals is that the monounsaturated fats in almonds, particularly oleic acid, play a direct role in supporting insulin receptor sensitivity on cell membranes. This means your body can signal repair rather than store. When insulin is balanced, the energy from your food is directed toward regeneration, not storage in adipose tissue. Beyond insulin, almonds influence another key player in recovery: cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. High cortisol levels, especially in the evening, interfere with muscle repair and encourage muscle breakdown. Magnesium from almonds helps regulate the enzymes that control cortisol synthesis in the adrenal glands, calming the nervous system and restoring balance to your circadian rhythm. This is why the body performs its most effective healing during restful sleep, not in chaos, but in calm. Let us visualize this like a nighttime construction scene inside your body. As you rest, your hormones coordinate like a crew of builders. Insulin directs where materials should go, growth hormone supplies the blueprint, and cortisol acts like the project supervisor. But when cortisol becomes overbearing, construction halts. Almonds, through their natural biochemistry, ease that tension, allowing the body to focus its resources on rebuilding instead of firefighting stress. If this is resonating with you, consider subscribing, because understanding how your metabolism communicates is the key to mastering health from within. At this point, we have seen how almonds stabilize insulin, reduce inflammation, and set the hormonal stage for muscle repair. But there is another layer, one that determines the quality of that repair, the activity of your mitochondria, the microscopic energy engines inside your muscle cells. Without them, no matter how much protein or amino acid your body receives, the process of building new tissue slows to a crawl. Here is what is really happening inside your body. Every muscle cell contains hundreds, sometimes thousands of mitochondria. These tiny structures are responsible for turning nutrients into adenosine triphosphate, the energy currency that powers every repair process. During sleep, your mitochondria do not shut down. In fact, they shift from generating motion-based energy to producing rebuilding energy. This is when your muscles recover, your immune system resets, and your metabolism fine-tunes itself for the day ahead. The compounds within almonds, particularly their vitamin E, magnesium, and polyphenols, play a direct role in protecting and energizing these mitochondria. Think of vitamin E as the shield that guards the mitochondrial walls from oxidative stress, which otherwise leads to cellular fatigue and early muscle aging. Magnesium, meanwhile, acts as the spark plug that keeps the energy cycle turning smoothly, ensuring that every molecule of glucose or fatty acid is efficiently transformed into usable energy. And the polyphenols in almonds, natural plant chemicals, communicate with your mitochondria to produce new copies of themselves, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a city that runs on electricity. The mitochondria are the power stations. If those stations are damaged, the lights flicker and the city slows down. But when you provide them with the right materials and protection, the entire grid becomes stronger, brighter, and more efficient. Almonds nourish those power stations directly, helping your body generate the energy needed not just for movement, but for restoration. What recent research reveals is that foods rich in monounsaturated fats and antioxidant compounds enhance the expression of certain genes involved in energy metabolism, specifically PGC1 alpha, the master regulator of mitochondrial growth. When this pathway is active, your cells produce more mitochondria, meaning more engines running to repair and fortify muscle tissue. So, while many people focus on how much protein they consume, the real secret lies in how well your cells can use that protein, and that depends on mitochondrial strength. Almonds give your body both the fuel and the tools to sustain that strength from within. This is why people who regularly consume almonds often report greater energy consistency, faster recovery, and improved endurance, even when their overall protein intake remains moderate. The difference is not in the quantity of protein, but in the quality of energy transformation inside the muscle cells themselves. Almonds help your body remember what it was designed to do, to heal, to adapt, and to thrive. Not by force, but by biological intelligence. Now that we understand how almonds strengthen the very engines of energy production within your muscles, let us go deeper into another critical part of the story: oxidative stress and the body's natural defense system against it. Because no matter how well nourished your cells are, without protection from oxidation, your muscle fibers remain vulnerable to microscopic wear and tear that slows healing and accelerates aging. Here is what is really happening inside your body. Every time you move, exercise, or even digest food, your cells produce reactive oxygen molecules, unstable byproducts that can damage proteins, membranes, and DNA. In moderation, these molecules serve a purpose. They signal your body to adapt and grow stronger. But when they build up beyond control, a state called oxidative stress, they begin corroding the very tissue you are trying to rebuild. Muscle soreness, delayed recovery, and chronic fatigue often stem from this imbalance. This is where almonds create a remarkable advantage. They are nature's way of arming your muscles with antioxidants that work directly at the cellular level. Their most notable defender is vitamin E, a fat-soluble compound uniquely capable of embedding itself into muscle cell membranes, forming a protective barrier against oxidative attack. Unlike water-based antioxidants, vitamin E stays where the damage happens, inside the fatty layers of your cells, neutralizing reactive molecules before they can cause harm. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your muscle cell as a castle. Its walls are made of delicate lipids, easily damaged by fiery arrows of oxidation. Vitamin E stands guard on those walls, intercepting each arrow before it lands. But almonds go beyond just providing this guard. Their polyphenols and trace minerals help recycle vitamin E, restoring its defensive power again and again. So the protection does not fade. It renews itself continuously through the night. What recent research reveals is that this antioxidant synergy not only prevents damage, but also directly enhances recovery. Studies show that individuals with higher circulating levels of vitamin E experience faster muscle repair and reduced markers of inflammation after exertion. This means your body spends less time cleaning up damage and more time constructing new, healthy tissue. But here is where the story connects back to metabolism. Oxidative stress does not only harm muscles, it also interferes with insulin signaling and mitochondrial function. When those systems are compromised, your body struggles to use nutrients efficiently. By keeping oxidative stress in check, almonds restore metabolic clarity, allowing your repair hormones, enzymes, and energy pathways to operate in harmony. So when you rest at night after nourishing your body with real food like almonds, you are not merely avoiding damage. You are actively guiding your biology toward renewal. Your body reads those molecular signals as a cue to regenerate, not just repair what is broken, but strengthen what remains. If this insight is adding clarity, consider subscribing. This is the science that helps you understand your body's intelligence from the inside out. So far, we have explored how almonds influence insulin balance, hormone rhythm, mitochondrial strength, and antioxidant protection. Now let us bring all of these biological threads together and see how this single food operates as a metabolic messenger. one that tells your body when to build, when to rest, and when to repair. Here's what is really happening inside your body. Every cell is constantly listening to chemical signals that determine its behavior. When the body senses inflammation, stress, or energy scarcity, it prioritizes survival, breaking down tissue, storing fat, and holding back repair. But when it senses stability, nourishment, and calm, it does the opposite. It shifts into an anabolic state, a state of building, restoring, and strengthening. Almonds send precisely that message. Their nutrient profile, the blend of amino acids, monounsaturated fats, antioxidants, and minerals, communicates safety and abundance at the cellular level. Your liver, which acts as the command center for metabolism, interprets this signal and sends instructions through hormones like insulin, IGF-1, and growth hormone to initiate tissue renewal. During sleep, this becomes even more powerful because your body's repair hormones naturally rise while stress hormones decline. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a symphony. Each organ is an instrument, each hormone a note. When everything is out of tune, too much cortisol, too little energy, unstable blood sugar, the sound becomes chaotic. Almonds help retune that orchestra. Their nutrients calm the percussion of stress, balance the rhythm of insulin, and allow the melody of recovery to play clearly again. What results is harmony, not only in muscle restoration, but in your entire metabolic state. What recent research reveals is that the timing and composition of nutrients profoundly influence gene expression related to repair. Almonds activate molecular pathways like AMPK and mTOR in balance, ensuring that your body does not overconsume or overshoot, but rebuilds precisely what is needed. This controlled activation is what makes regeneration efficient, not wasteful. As this signaling unfolds, your muscle fibers respond by strengthening their structural proteins. Your mitochondria multiply to generate more energy, and your connective tissues tighten their collagen networks. You wake up not only feeling restored, but metabolically sharper, because your body has used the night as a laboratory for healing. The brilliance of this system is that it does not depend on extremes. It depends on intelligence, your body's natural capacity to sense balance. Almonds do not push your metabolism, they guide it. They remind your cells that growth does not have to come from artificial stimulation, but from cooperation between nature and biology. So, when we say that eating this nut rebuilds muscle overnight, it is not a claim of magic. It is physiology in its purest form, your body responding to clear, nourishing signals the way it was designed to. And in that response lies the deeper truth about strength, recovery, and longevity. The most powerful medicine is often the most natural one. When we step back and look at the entire picture, a profound truth becomes clear. True muscle regeneration is not driven by isolated nutrients or synthetic formulations, but by the intelligent coordination of your body's natural systems. The story of almonds is the story of how nourishment and biology can align with perfect precision. Throughout this exploration, we have seen how muscle growth depends on more than protein quantity. It depends on how your body interprets the nutrients you provide. We discovered that almonds stabilize insulin, the key metabolic signal that determines whether your energy is stored or used for repair. We saw how they calm inflammation, quieting the internal noise that prevents muscle tissue from rebuilding. We examined how their magnesium and polyphenols energize the mitochondria, transforming food into life-sustaining energy. And we understood how their antioxidants defend your muscles from the invisible wear of oxidative stress. Here is what is truly remarkable inside your body. When all of these processes align, hormonal balance, mitochondrial vitality, and antioxidant defense, your physiology begins to operate in coherence. The body transitions from a state of survival into a state of growth. This is what allows muscle tissue to rebuild more effectively during rest, particularly overnight when the orchestra of hormones and enzymes performs its most delicate symphony of repair. Let me offer a simple reflection. Your muscles are not just mechanical parts. They are living tissues that record how you live, what you eat, how you rest, how you manage stress, and how you nourish your cells. Almonds do not impose strength upon you. They support the intelligence that your body already possesses. They whisper the signal that says, "It is safe to heal now," And when that signal is received, the transformation begins quietly, cell by cell, while you sleep. So the next time you hear that muscle growth depends solely on powders, formulas, or grams of protein, remember that your biology operates with greater wisdom than that. It listens to balance, not volume. It responds to clarity, not intensity. And in that clarity, foods like almonds stand as reminders that nature still provides what your body understands best. Genuine nourishment that works with your design, not against it. If this message has deepened your understanding of how the body rebuilds itself, I invite you to like this video and subscribe. Join a community that believes in strengthening health through knowledge, science, and the natural intelligence of the human body.